Hey, welcome back to Green Tunes Performance. This is Steve, your host. I wanted to show you the new bubbler I built today. This is so far it's proving to be airtight, and I think you can see like some of the condensate here just from the gas flowing in and out. You have like a little condensation, which is a good sign. I did verify at the input port here that gas was coming out of this tube before it attaches to this fitting. Before I went on the last little road trip, about 15 miles, the scan gauge was saying I was getting 14 miles per gallon. I replaced the green tubing here with clear tubing, and I have one flashback arrestor, and I have one-way check valve before it goes into the bubbler. That way it can't siphon out of the bubbler when the system cools off. We don't want anything going back into our electrolyte. So I did a little more due diligence on making sure all the connections were as snug as possible in terms of snugging up the hose clamps. I epoxied the connection here. I added more Teflon tape to this outbound port on the electrolyte reservoir tank. I tightened up the bolts on the cell itself because it had some small leaks, so I put about an 1/8 to 1/4 turn on each nut. Here I installed a sight glass tube, clear tube, that tells me the level of the solution, which is windshield wiper solution, methanol, -35 temperature rating, so it shouldn't freeze. This is an extra tall bubbler. The tube that goes to the bottom of the canister is very long. This is like 2 feet long. So there's a lot of solution between the bottom of the tube and where the sight glass reading is. So the reason I use this size tube for the bubbler or scrubber, as they call it, is because that's the length of tube that was on the shelf at the big box store, sort of like a Home Depot. So instead of cutting it because it would fit, I just put it in here and added the extra fluid. That gives me more solution for the hydroxy gas to go through to be scrubbed, and it's mounted pretty securely, doesn't move around. I use one big hose clamp and fastened it to some plumbing here that's no longer used by the air conditioning system. Everything here is epoxied inside and out, and then I used because they only had brass, I used brass there, and I put some Teflon tape on this cap. That's my fill port. So this is a much more durable bubbler than the other one I used, and it seems to be working much better. I was impressed with the performance in the first 15 miles. Stay tuned.